Okay, this is going to be the last VOD of this game, and it's going to be focused on the bot lane. I'm going to treat ADC and support as a singular role because their success is integrally tied to each other. So, Vayne, your positioning is fine. Sona, I talked about why your positioning is bad in the mid video, so check that out at the beginning of that game. We'll just fast forward until lane. Nothing happens before then. Okay. So obviously we get priority in bot lane. It seems really weird that that caster is surviving the 4th hit. Like maybe the damage output is a little bit different or something. I'm not exactly sure of that. Q start on both of these champions is fine. Actually, let me go back and take a look at something. Hold on. Do you have power cord right now? I don't think you do, right? After casting 3 spells, you didn't cast any in the brush, right? Let me rewind to the beginning of the game here. Okay. You haven't casted anything. Okay, and then you haven't casted anything. Okay. Yeah, and then you don't cast anything. So you're coming into lane without power cord. Don't do that. If your jungler's going to start top buff or whatever, cast Q twice on the fountain. And then, yeah, that way you can come into lane and then your first Q gets power cord behind it. Whenever I'm playing solo Q and I'm playing Sona, I'll put it like jungler always starts on bottom buff on solo Q. So I will cast Q once on fountain before I buy my items, and then during the jungle leash, I'll cast Q once more. That way when I come into lane, I can just Q auto attack and I get power cord immediately. It doesn't cost me anything to do. I come into lane with basically full mana if I cast Q during the leash. So since your jungler started topside, you just cast Q twice on fountain, you come into lane with full mana, then you Q auto attack, you get the power cord damage on Blitzcrank. That's a mechanic I'm kind of surprised you're not utilizing. So, Sona, what you can do, like that Q is kind of worthless. That Q isn't going to get anything. I don't know if you're like reaching for some poke on Blitzcrank or something. What you can do is auto attack just like one of the casters, just one of them, and get it low. And then that way, during this blank space where Vayne has nothing to do, she can just CS that one thing. Like while she was hitting the melees, you could have been taking this one. This was the last one to get creep aggroed. And you should know that it would be the last one because it's the furthest back. This one's like a little bit closer. So you could have autoed that one down because Vayne is clearly trying to shove the wave, get that level 2. But now you end up in a really weird spot where if the lane doesn't shove into the tower, then bot lane can actually set up a perma freeze off of this. So this is really bad. This ward, it's okay. But Evelyn's probably not going to gank bot lane pre-6, right? I'm just going to turn on the red side vision for this game. Because between the two of you, you should be warding enough to be able to know what's going on. So around this point in the game, you should know that Evelynn is on the bottom side of the map. Because Kindred tried to do top scuttle and Evelynn wasn't there or didn't contest the crab. So, and bottom crab was marked by Kindred. So Evelynn's probably trying to deny Kindred the marks as well. So at this point in the game, you should be well aware that Evelynn is bottom side, although you don't know where she is. Stop autoing the minions. It's going to shove back into you, and Evelyn's on bot side anyways, so by autoing the minions, you're shoving the wave, and that's something that doesn't need to occur. Because you've already warded against the Evelyn gank, like here, which is like, okay, spot, I guess, but if Evelyn comes through river, like she probably would have after she took the Scuttle Crab, that ward wouldn't spot her out. But just you're just delaying the amount of time it's going to take for the wave to bounce back to you, which is really, really bad. And now, obviously, Blitzcrank is getting a lot of priority in the lane. So he had no priority in the lane in the level 1 because he was perma-shoved in. Now, he has priority in the lane. Condemn was kind of late, but whatever. It's unfortunate that you're not in voice comms because then you can communicate whether Sona should flash or Vayne can condemn. It's kind of hard to make that call when you don't have voice. Otherwise, the CS is going okay. You can't really step up to try to harass the Blitzcrank anymore, just because there's too much of a wave. Like, you don't have enough of a wave. So Blitzcrank lanes are played around the number of minions that each team has, and you want to keep minion advantage to get rid of the Blitzcrank possibility because it gives you more things to dodge behind. But then, like, if you have more minions, that means they're just going to shove into the enemy tower. Now, Blitzcrank doesn't like being shoved under the enemy tower, but being shoved obviously subjects you to more gank potential. Sona just got hooked together, didn't have flash. Kind of unlucky, not a big deal. And now this is a bad spot to be in because Vayne can't actually hyper shove a lane quick enough to crash into the tower. So, like, just as a champion, Vayne can't do enough. So you could take the immediate back, but the wave's gonna meet right here. Yeah. And it's a cannon wave, which fucking sucks. Like, you're just in a bad spot. At this point, you have to stay. And Ezreal's just going to have an item advantage over you. See, but by the time you kill this wave, the next wave is basically pulling up. See? So you're just in a bad spot. Bad place to be. Sona dying there kind of hurt you a lot. So Sona goes on a roam. This isn't a bad roam. Sona, if she is going here, should be looking to place a ward on this camp. Okay. It's unnecessary to place it so far. You could just place it here. All you need is vision of the camp. That's okay. And Sona's going to spot the Evelyn in the river, so you do know that Evelyn is bottom side right now. And Vayne's coming back with a Cutlass. Really good item for Vayne. Immediately gets hooked in. I mean, you know, like, if you can't see, you know, the Blitzcrank, like, somewhere, it's the 6-minute mark, 7-minute mark. Like, you kind of have to assume he's probably not roaming. You have to look at the state of your other lanes. Like, Syndra wasn't in mid, and Sylas isn't showing top, so there's no reason for Blitzcrank to be there. There's no utility that can be gained from that. So that's just kind of like bad personal judgment. Like, you have to know he's there. It does feel bad to come back into lane and get immediately hooked. Feels bad, man. At least you'll be able to get some HP back because of the Cutlass. This is okay. Sona needs to be controlling the side brushes. Not bad. Yep, that's good. So see, now that you have more minions, like now you've sort of like, now you're executing a slow push, which is kind of weird because you're not going to really like get it there in time. You have too many casters. Yeah, so now your wave is just going to stop right outside their tower. It's going to stop like right here. Yeah. So that's actually really bad. So you just fucked yourself again. Like this is wave management. And now it's hard for Vayne to step up. Like Blitzcrank is gone. You don't know where he is, but Sona's off also doing something else. Ward on the blue buff. Okay. I think Blitzcrank should have died, but that condemn was kind of bad. Late exhaust. And Ezreal E auto attack. Okay. And Sona dies. Alright, so let's look at this fight again. See what we could have done better here. So, Vayne is basically dead at this point. I mean, she's not dead, right? Okay. So, Vayne, does Vayne have a ward? She does not. So this is hella unfortunate. So what you can do, let me just see the very beginning of this fight again. Okay. Okay, so we glance up. We know that Sona is coming. Let's auto attack, tumble, condemn, Blitzcrank into the Sona. Like if you do that, if you're going to flash, then you have to disengage. Like, because you're out at that point. If you go, like, and you just leave, then you've burned flash, and you burned ult, but it's not the worst thing in the world. No reason to condemn there. Ezreal heal. But now all you need is one tumble to get in range of the Blitzcrank. That was actually a really clean auto attack. I'm not sure how you got that champion when they were right on top of each other. And now the heal is coming out from the Vayne. Yeah, so I think that the right call, just not looking at the rest of it, I think that the right call, Blitzcrank's coming in hard. So you auto attack from here. Final hour, roll, condemn into the Sona. And then aggro on the Ezreal. Because at that point, Blitzcrank's only option is to try to pull you to get you away. Because Ezreal's not going to beat a Vayne 1v1. He's got Tear of the Goddess for damage. And you have a Cutlass. So he loses hard. So Blitzcrank has to pull you away, back towards your support, right? So then at that point, Blitzcrank pulls you, he knocks you up, Ezreal can't follow up. If Ezreal E's into you, you know, whenever this happens, let's look at the state of the lane. Right here. Okay. All the minions are over here, so all things equal, you condemn Blitzcrank, you run a little bit further this way. Blitzcrank's going to continue running forward. He doesn't know which direction you're going. So you run this way. You condemn him upwards towards the Sona. Your aim isn't even to hit the stun here, but you're just trying to put him in a position where if he grabs you, then you're in a favorable position. So if he grabs you, you and Sona just kill him. And if he doesn't grab you, then you just kill Ezreal. Because if Ezreal attempts to trade with you after you condemn and come out of this, and then you start auto-attacking him, and then you kite down towards this brush where you already have vision, now what? If Ezreal wants to fight you, he's got to draw the aggro of these 3 minions. And you're not going to take any aggro at all, because the fight's moving this way, which is not even close to his minion wave. So now you can kill Ezreal in the 1v1 if Blitz doesn't hook. And if Blitz does hook, then he pulls you into your support, and then you can initiate a 2v2 because you still have final hour. So technically the onus is still on you to pursue the team fight or to leave. Of course, this is really hard to coordinate without a voice communication. I'm just saying that this would be the right call. You have to think, like, Blitzcrank is a one-dimensional champion, right? You can only do one thing. He throws Q. Either he hits it or he misses it. But either way, all he can do is throw Q. And it's going to bring you to him. So you have to put him in a spot where he doesn't want to throw the Q, or you put him in a spot where if he throws the Q, it's still favorable to you. So putting him in a spot where he doesn't want to throw the Q would be like poking him down or something, getting him low. Because if you can like poke a Blitzcrank, he's not going to want to pull you. Because if he does, then he dies. And he doesn't want that. So we can't do that, obviously, in this situation. So what the next best thing is going to be to put Blitzcrank in a spot where if he pulls you, you're still in a favorable position. That puts you right next to your support. But then let's see how the fight plays out from here and see what we could have done differently. The flash, obviously, we could have left at this point. We could have left. We could have just continued walking away. We could have left. Especially after the Ignite is dropped, we could have left. Because Ignite's a lot of damage early, right? That condemn wouldn't have accomplished anything even if it hit. There's no reason to condemn there. And then the exhaust should have been on Ezreal much, much sooner. Let's see when the exhaust should have gone. Not right now. Not yet. Sona, walk forward. Sona, walk forward. Come down. Your Vayne's obviously all end. So as a support, you have to read your AD carry, and this is a skill that's going to apply to you, like most especially, because you're going to go into solo queue, and it's going to be very similar. Obviously, you play with Pass, like you know that he's good. In solo queue, you're not going to know that your AD carry is good, but you should be able to read their actions and their intent, and that's going to make you better as a player by being able to play around them. Sona is a very flexible support. She can go like more damage or more healing, you know, like Q max or W max, that type of thing, and then her itemization, she can go personal damage like a Lich Bane, or she can go utility based like an Athene's into like a or a Mikael's and a Magi's or something like that, and she can backline. So she has options. She has versatility in playstyle, versatility in build. Like Sona is the ultimate like one-stop shop as far as supports go. She can engage with a flash ult, or she can disengage with an E and an ult. Something like that. So you have to be able, if you're going to play this very versatile champion, you have to be able to play very versatile play styles. And you're playing with an AD carry right now who is just all end. And you know that he is all end when he flashed back to you, but then tumbled forward. Because if he was really trying to escape, he would have flashed and then tumbled backwards. But he didn't. So you have to read that, so you know that he's coming towards the all end. So he's coming towards the all end means that you should technically be ahead of him. Because you want the AD carry to focus you instead of him. If the AD carry focuses you, and if you can take a few skill shots for Pass, Pass wins this fight. Okay. So he gets hooked in. Whatever. Exhaust should have been used instead of the Q. Like if that ultimate gets exhausted, I mean that's just a massive amount of damage, you know that. And maybe that can turn the tide of the fights. And you're trying to body block a little bit here, but it's not going to be enough. And now you're fighting like in his minion wave at the very end of the fight, so that's just rough. And then you get poked down too low, trade flash for flash. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. Both of you made mechanical errors in that play. And both of you could have saved the other. So I don't consider that like the fault of like one of you or something like that. Overall, it was a bad play. So Ezreal has his Iceborne Gauntlet. This is really bad news for us at this point in this lane. Because, I mean, obviously Vayne gets the true damage, but it does mean that he's going to take significantly less damage, and it means that he's going to deal significantly more poke, and he's going to have a lot more control of the wave. Ezreal already gets a lot of shove, and Vayne already doesn't, but it's just going to get much worse now with the Iceborne. Vayne gets hooked in. Ult by Sona, whiffs it. Vayne ends up living. Does use ult for ult, which isn't the worst. Again, Vayne is going to have the Cutlass. She can kind of heal back up. I think you probably could have killed Blitzcrank there if you would have just went on the Blitzcrank instead of trying to focus the Ezreal. I know he's low, but as an AD carry, your job is to hit the thing in front of you. Your job is not to assassinate the backline. That's the job of assassins. And since we do not have assassins in these team comps, and the only assassin I would draft is Talon anyways, who our mid laner doesn't play, we're just going to be playing what's called front-to-back team fights. And that is where the backline focuses the front line. The backline does not worry about the backline. Ultimately, as long as you can do more damage to the front line than they can deal to yours, then you will win the fight. In principle. That's the idea. Okay. clear out a control ward. That's pretty nice for us. At this point, Evelynn is well past the level 6 mark, so being able to place a ward here doesn't do anything for us. At this point, there's no point in warding unless you're going to ward one of our own jungle camps. And it's for this reason that you can honestly start switching to Farsight alteration like as soon as Evelynn hits 6, in all honesty. Yep, there's the ping on the Syndra there. She's backing. Ezreal goes for the kill. I don't know where Ezreal fired that. Let's watch this. I can't see it. Like, I can see it on the mini-map, but I can't actually see it in the game. It must have, like, just whiffed or something. I didn't see it in the spectate mode either, so I wonder if, like, Ezreal ult is bugged or something. So, here... Well, let's just see how it plays out. Okay, there's a lot of bad things that are happening right now. Can't go for that. Okay, so there's a lot of bad things that are happening. So let's talk about this gank. So you know that they don't have vision because you cleared it out and you haven't seen them ward it. So Kindra's going to come down for the gank. Now, both of you are positioning kind of aggressively. I mean, you have no minion waves and you're up here against the Blitzcrank for no reason. Would it be the worst thing in the world for Sona to come in and eat this hook? To bait Ezreal to follow up with that? And I'm going to say no. Because if they use everything and blow up Sona right there, then Kindred just kills them 100%. So here's this. Alright, Vayne. Focus on the front line. I like this. Blitzcrank flashes out. Okay, the heal and the ultimate by Kindred being used at the same time. Ezreal heal. Now Ezreal's going to flash. Vayne flash for him. And Sona ult. It's a well-placed ult. Catches them both. And Vayne gets this fat shutdown gold. Overall, they flashed twice and used heal, and then we flashed... or we used Kindred ult and then 2 flashes and heal. So ultimately we used more than they did, even though we got 750 gold. I would say overall, is that worth? Yes. But could we have done it even better? Absolutely. Sona takes the hook there. And I am, like, Sona is in comms with Kindred, so I imagine that you guys are kind of communicating this. Hey, I'm going to gank bot. So Sona should be saying to herself, okay, I'm going to take this hook. And then if she takes the hook, then if it really baits the enemy team hard. And even at that point, I don't think that summoner spells can save Blitzcrank. I think that they both die if Sona eats that hook and if they try to blow her up immediately. Then you get a fuckload of plates off of this whole tower. So that's a lot of gold that just happened. Shutdown gold. Some of the plates went away, I think, by the end of that, but did they? Let's see. Yeah, so like you missed like the last plate, but that's okay. So you got a ton of gold, got the minion wave after that. And now Vayne is going to back. Sona, you should be backing as well. You don't have any mana. Like, I know that you're thinking like, well, there's, you know, I might as well take this pink ward. Taking that pink ward doesn't really do anything for you. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip backwards. Taking that pink doesn't really do anything for you. And also, Kindred, you should be taking that pink ward as well if that's what Sona's doing. Like, you never want to just leave someone alone like that. I don't think that you know where Evelynn is right now. You can assume that she's topside if you do have vision of this stuff. If you know that these camps are up and that this camp is respawning, if you know. But I don't know if you know that or not. It could just be that the replay is bugged. So Kindred's going to come over here, sit on the blue buff, pick this up. That's completely fine. So after grabbing bot tower, Vayne immediately just runs top. I don't think that this is a good call. I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier as well. The Mountain Drake is kind of too good for what you guys want to do. And lane swap means that you don't have any dragon pressure. So And Kindred is a champion that takes objectives kind of okay, you know? So now Kindred's going to come back up here, try to give you some more help. Obviously, we see a couple champions. At this point, I'm kind of fast forwarding. I think that everything that I wanted to talk about, I kind of have, so I'm just making sure that there's nothing exciting that's going on here. Dragon spawns. I think this is the kill on. God damn it. I think this is the kill onto Silas. Yeah, you poke him down. Maybe the next wave is the kill onto Silas. Oh yeah, he did have Kindred ult there, but that was pretty good. Overall, pretty good. Taking that minion, griefing your AD carry. I see that shit. Okay, and then from there, mid tower falls at the next wave as well. So, yeah, this is where I'm going to stop this review. However, I do want to, if I can, yeah, I just want to highlight something that happened that I thought was pretty fucking disgusting when I saw it in game. Alright, so here we have this situation. Vayne is 3 items, you know, boots, Bork, Rageblade. So she shoves the lane in, shoves the minions into the tower. Okay, we see teleport coming in. It has to be Silas. So there's Silas. So Vayne comes up here and she starts taking Krugs. This is completely okay to do because we knew that 4 of them were topside and she was splitting in bottom. So this is totally fine. So what happens? She gets her 6 stacks of Rageblade and then what? She's going to come around the corner, Bork him. Ooh, that's a proc. And then one more. That's a proc. Light a bitch. That's the shit I like to see. That's fucking disgusting.